Over the last 12 months, we've covered over 12,000 miles with the car, charging it primarily with solar at our home and using it in every kind of weather. Literally as hot as it gets and as cold as it gets, we've driven it in it. And anyway, here's our review. It's fitting that when I'm trying to describe what it's like to own the i3 for 12 months, that it's raining, because we have owned and driven this car in every kind of weather, from 105 degrees Fahrenheit to 5 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like minus 15 degrees Celsius. So in our 12 months, we put over 12,000 miles on the car, and we have had not a single problem, save one flat, which is not the car's fault, where we ran over about a 4-inch bolt. The car has been perfect, and I have to admit that I was a little bit apprehensive at first, that I thought the car, brand new technology, we got it in 2014, I was really afraid that the car might actually have some issues, because I mean, BMW's never made a carbon fiber all-electric car, but it's been no issue for us as far as the range goes. BMW says about 80 miles, and that's a good, accurate statement, except for when it gets really cold. And when it gets really cold, the range can decrease quite a bit. You can lose maybe lose 35–40%. So here's the bottom of our i3 after 12 months worth of use, driving it in the rain and the snow. We live in the snow belt where they use a lot of salt and sand, and really I don't see any corrosion anywhere up under here. And if you had a Rex, that's where the motor would live, on the Rex, but we just have the pure electric one with a motor that resides on the driver's side. We did opt for the tech package in this car, and I gotta say it's been really fascinating, because anymore I'll let it park itself when I need to parallel park it. The size of this car is fantastic in small parking garages, tight congested spaces. It's the ideal car for us when we got to go downtown, and when we have to worry about any kind of traffic. It's the ideal in-city car. One of the cool things is there are about 7 main riders for BMWBLOG, and amongst the 7 of us, there are 5. That's right, 5 i3s that we have, which I think that speaks volumes to the execution of this technology, that those of us that write about this all the time, that are very picky about how cars function and how they drive, that we would buy 5 of them amongst the 7 of us. And no other model has that kind of penetration. We do have 2 1 Series M coupes, but outside of that, nobody else has the same car. As far as driving dynamics go, I'm pretty picky. I like a car that is responsive, that you feel confident that you know what it's going to do, and at least around town, and most of the time on the interstate, the car is fantastic. The things where it takes some getting used to are, number one, the electric car driving is a totally different experience. You can drive the car with your foot on the gas and slow the car down by lifting off the gas, because it'll regen. And so that takes some retraining of your mind to learn not to use the brake pedal. I would give you, however, it has been a little tricky sometimes, because, and it took me months to figure this out, but when the battery's full, or the battery's cold, or the battery's been preconditioned, and you go to lift off, the battery doesn't need the power, it can't handle the power. So what it does is pedal regeneration is different. So you have to immediately recalibrate your mind and or reach for the brake pedal, because sometimes when you lift off the gas, like right there, sometimes it isn't that strong. And I think those of us that have really like electric car driving like the sensation of lifting off the gas when you want to slow down and knowing that the energy is going back to the battery. However, when it's cold, it's not going to do it because it just can't handle the electricity. Anytime between like almost empty and 3/4, I can tell you what it's going to do. But when it's full or when it's cold, it takes a little bit of getting used to see what it's doing. Dynamically, there are two other things that bother me about the car. One, if you're doing the brake energy regeneration and you lift off and you hit some kind of pothole or some kind of thing that bounces the back end, the axles, they kind of go into freewheel or neutral. And so you think you know how you're slowing down, but you bounce over something, it unsettles the rear end, and then the car's inherent safety mechanism is just to let go of the regen and then coast. Like right there, the car just lost the brake energy regeneration. That's okay, I anticipated it, I saw it, but you have to get used to it. The other thing is, sometimes on the interstate, when you're driving 65, 70 miles an hour and there's a crosswind, it's tall stature and shortish wheelbase, make it, and narrow tires, it makes it feel not like a BMW. It's unlike any other BMW I've ever had. I mean, any other BMW, I get out on the freeway and it feels fine on the interstate, and they never make me feel uncomfortable until I got to this one. And it's 65, 70 miles an hour on the interstate in traffic. Some crosswinds, you will feel it be buffeted around and feel like the chassis gets a little upset, and that's pretty unusual for a BMW. However, I would tell you 10 out of 10 times again, I would buy this car because it is such a fantastic car for what it does. I wasn't sure how many miles we'd put on the thing. I didn't know how much we'd use it, but we really, really use this car a lot. In fact, between my wife and I, one of us is in the car every day and going somewhere in it. It's the ultimate in town, run around town, run errands car. And for us, the commute is 13 miles one way to work, 13 miles back, so a 26-mile round trip. Now we do primarily recharging at home, so we do take advantage of our level 2 charger that we have in the garage, and it's just like your cell phone. You get used to charging it every night. You just come home, you plug it in, you leave in the morning with a full battery, and you're ready to go. One of the less useful things is the front trunk. The Frunk, as it's called. It's not really weatherproof. It's not very big. It's not really very useful for carrying much outside of a gallon of milk or our Chinese takeout. In our 12 months of testing and 12,000 miles, we found the BMW i3 to be much more practical than I would have thought it was, because it really took and handled any kind of weather that we threw at it. We also found that when properly equipped with these snow tires on a separate set of wheels for us to make mounting and changing them out easier, and a good set of winter floor mats, that this thing would handle any kind of winter weather. Range is definitely affected. If you're interested, see our winter testing video. But it really is a very practical layout. The rear seats fold down, the hatch is big. We've actually put my daughter's 3/4 size base that fits in the car, and multiple runs to Costco. It's been a great car, and without a doubt, we would buy it again. In fact, we intend to keep one in our family for some time to come.